Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hello, welcome to Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge. This is episode number 1002. And of course, you know, recently we were at a trailer reveal for Ontario Truck Driving and Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. But while we were there, we did some interviews with people who are passionate in the fight against human trafficking. And we're going to share those interviews with you today. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hey folks, Bison Transport is looking for owner-operators, and if that is you, they want to talk to you. Here's what they can offer you as an independent owner-operator. Their goal is to help you grow and maximize your profits. You need a strategy to increase revenue while minimizing operational expenses. Bison's exclusive owner-operator program provides you with the benefits of a large fleet while running your independent operation. Look at things like their strong fuel discount. Bison has a dedicated fuel team who negotiate discounts for our owner-operators by working with our preferred suppliers. By leveraging their fleet of over 2,000 trucks, they have the buying power to ensure they receive one of the strongest fuel discounts in the business. Hey, how about free fuel advice? That's right, Bison offers valuable trip-based fuel advice for you via satellite message to owner-operators free of charge. An owner-operator who takes advantage of this information can save up to $3,000 a year. And the best thing of all, Bison has new rates. That's right, Bison has increased the rates for long-haul cross-border owner-operators. This includes a U.S. premium increase of 2 cents a U.S. mile, and that's not all. Bison has an additional premium for owner-operators who hold a valid fast card. Where can you find out more? Well, go to Bison Transport, and the best place to start is at fuelyourjourney.ca. Oh, by the way, tell them that the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you. All right, so we were at the unveil with Ontario Truck Driving School and Women's Trucking Federation of Canada. As you know, they are both organizations that are passionate about fighting against human trafficking. Ontario Truck Driving School revealed a whole trailer for that. Go back to our May shows and you can hear the unveil about that. We just talked about that. In fact, I think it was May 31st. We just talked about that on the podcast. So go back to that show there if you want to hear some of the highlights from the presentations and stuff. Today, though, we did a whole bunch of interviews with people who are passionate in their own organizations getting things going. And we're going to talk with the mayor of London, Ontario today. We're going to talk with a spokesperson for Crime Stoppers. We talked with Angela, who is the president of Big Rigs Rap, who actually did the rap on the trailer. And then we've talked with the MP of London Fanshawe, Member of Parliament Lindsay Matheson. So they had some great things to say about their organizations and what they're doing to combat human trafficking. So let's take a listen to those interviews, shall we? Hey folks, you know, we often think that truck training facilities only train new drivers looking to be employed in the industry. That's a lie. The fact is, truck training schools like Ontario Truck Driving School offer corporate training for clients in transportation, heavy equipment, and more. The training staff will come to your location and train your team at your location on your equipment. You determine the schedule, and this program is great for fleets with many drivers. To learn how Ontario Truck Driving School can help you efficiently train your team, visit their website at otds.com.
I'd first like to welcome up Mayor Josh Morgan from the City of London.
Well, thank you very much, Shelley, and thank you for providing those words. I want to talk a little bit just about our City of London, because I know this is a program that has been rolled out in a number of cities. And the first thing to say is that we know, and we're well aware, that London, with its geographic position, with the access to the highways, with the hotels along the highways, you know, we are a center for human trafficking. We are a center for sex trafficking. We're a center for child exploitation. And those are all things that we need to devote significant resources to try to tackle. And so this awareness campaign is a critical piece of building awareness about how human trafficking exists in our city, how it exists in our region, and how people can be part of the solution to call it out. As a council, we've committed in several ways to try and tackle this. First, in our strategic plan, the last strategic plan, for the first time ever, we created a new pillar in our strategic plan of creating a safe city for women and girls. In this strategic plan, we continued that work to build out that effort. And combating human trafficking is a key part of our work to create a safe city for women and girls, because we know that they are one of the key victims of human trafficking, sex trafficking, and sexual exploitation. Combat human trafficking, but we have hired a new chief who will take the oath in our city on June 1st, who has expertise in this space, who understands the complexity of crime and what needs to be done to try to tackle it. And so Chief Designate Trong is going to be an excellent resource and a new leader in our community for combating human trafficking in the city of London and supporting the work and advocacy across the region. And so I want you to know that we recognize that this is a critical issue in our city. We are taking action, and we are fundamentally and unequivocally supportive of campaigns like this that raise awareness to try to ensure that the public each and every day can be part of the solution by calling it out, by understanding how it exists, and providing help and access to information on what numbers to call, where you can go, and how you can get relief. And so with that, I want to thank you so much for welcoming me to say a few words today, and I look forward to the other speakers. And thanks once again for a wonderful awareness campaign that would be a huge asset with it.
All right, I'm here with Josh Morgan, of the Mayor of London, right? Is that right? Good to see you.
Great,
good to see you.
Yeah.
So have you been out to these events before?
Not this event before, and this is new for me, but a very important issue and something we're very passionate about at the city. Yeah, for sure.
It's good to have Ontario Truck Driving School. This is, I don't know, I'm in the transportation industry, and this is a big program that's going on, bringing awareness. What's it like in London? Is there awareness going on in London? Are people realizing about human trafficking?
Oh yeah. Well, first off, London is ideal as a hub. So it's a significant problem that we have in the city because of access to the highway, where we are geographically located. But it is a commitment that our council has made, and so there is a good level of awareness. We've put this right into our strategic plan. We have a pillar that says we want to make our city a safe place for women and girls, and we know that those are the groups most often targeted in human trafficking and sexual exploitation. And so awareness campaigns like this are phenomenal to help raise awareness in the general community, but something that we are fully behind as a city and a council.
Yeah, we're taking it on the highway. We need you guys to do the in-city stuff. We'll do the outside stuff, right? Perfect. But I know I drove for 25 years, and I've been part of the truck stops in the States and didn't realize that what this was.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're like, oh my gosh, how many times have I seen it? And so as far as the human trafficking, is there other campaigns going on in the city outside of the trucking industry to help that?
Oh yes, no, we've got a lot of work that we're doing. Even I sit on the police services board,
okay,
and so we've boosted our staff in the area. We actually just recently hired a new police chief who has expertise in human trafficking area, and so he takes the oath on June 1st, I believe, and so we recognize this is a growing issue in our city. We're certainly taking action, and the new chief is going to allow a really strong focus on tackling this issue within the city, and obviously in partnership with partners like the Ontario Truck Driving School and of course our friends in the OPP to see what we can do to be part of the solution, because awareness is really key.
Yeah.
Recognizing when it happens and what's happening is really key, and so the public has a really important role to play in this as well.
Yeah. Do they introduce that into the school level? Like, I'm thinking, high school at least, so the students are aware of what might be happening.
Yeah, I mean, there are different education programs. It's not something the municipality oversees. The school boards do, but they're always doing awareness campaigns. And I think if they're not doing something like this, certainly this is something that is very helpful for people to know. And even as those young people who can be victims of human trafficking and exploitation, children, especially when you get into the high school age, awareness is really critical because people need to protect themselves and others need to look out for the signs as well.
Yeah. We're past the don't just talk to strangers thing right now. It's a whole new level out there. Josh, thank you for your time today.
My pleasure.
Thanks for doing all you're doing in London, and good luck with all the campaigns.
Yeah, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thanks.
Next, I'm going to call up Sarah Bauer-Peters from the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers, Board Director and Program Coordinator of Crime Stoppers Guelph Wellington.
Thank you, Shelley. I'm pleased to be here today to represent the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers, specifically our president, Wayne Summers. My name is Sarah Bowers-Peter, and I'm a director on the board of the Ontario Association. My relationship with Shelley spans several years now, and I'm proud of the work she has done to increase awareness around human trafficking. She knows everyone and is passionate about making a difference, two very important qualities when tackling human trafficking. Partnering with the Women's Trucking Federation, specifically the No Human Trafficking Education Initiative, was a logical step for OACS, as crime prevention and awareness falls within the Crime Stoppers' mandate of community safety. The individuals I've come to know and work alongside are talented and dedicated to making a difference in the growing crime of human trafficking. When the trailer concept was presented to me, I was impressed with the prospect of having a massive moving billboard, and again, gorgeous work, thank you, Big Rig, and with impactful human trafficking messaging rolling through the province and drawing attention to this crime while compelling people to learn more. OACS is pleased to partner, as indicated by our logo on the trailer, to offer a method of reporting crime anonymously and confidentially. For those of you who are not familiar with what Crime Stoppers does, here's your history lesson. It started in 1976 with Detective Greg McAleese, who was born here in Ontario, working as a police investigator in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In July of that year, he was called in on a robbery that evolved into a homicide at a convenience store. Tragically, 20-year-old Michael Carmen was shot at close range, dying shortly thereafter. He was a promising young man who was a college student and engaged to be married. Despite the crime taking place in a highly visible location, police were not getting information from the public. The case stalled. Weeks later, in September of 1976, with no leads to further the investigation, Detective McAleese developed a concept. He engaged local media to air a reenactment of a crime, set up an anonymous phone line to take information from the public, and offered a cash reward from his own pocket of $300, which I think we can all agree, $300 in 1976 would certainly have been a lot of money. It's more like $1,000 today. Within hours, call takers were flooded with calls, and the case was solved with the arrest and later conviction of 2 individuals. This three-way partnership between the police, media, and public is the foundation of Crime Stoppers. Today, there are Crime Stoppers programs around the world, including 37 right here in Ontario, like London, Middlesex Crime Stoppers. All programs operate independently with the same mandate to offer an anonymous method of reporting crime. Crime Stoppers is not the police, but a community-based organization that works alongside investigative partners. Crime Stoppers does not investigate, but rather acts as an intermediary between the public and police or other investigative agency, such as the Ministry of Finance, or in some areas, local by law enforcement. All tips provided to Crime Stoppers are forwarded to investigators. The role that Crime Stoppers plays in relation to the No Human Trafficking Initiative is that once someone has completed the online training and understands exactly what human trafficking is, they will recognize this crime once they see it. Reporting crime is fundamental in keeping our community safe, and Crime Stoppers very much wants to hear about human trafficking. By calling 1-800-222-TIPS, or in this area, going to londoncrimestoppers.com, you remain anonymous. You will never have to give your name or testify in court. Your information is confidential and no one will know you have provided the tip. In the event that your information leads to an arrest, you qualify for a cash reward of up to $2,000. Crime Stoppers is recognized in the Canadian judicial system and supported through case law. It is a safe, reliable method of reporting crime, including human trafficking. At this time, I'd like to recognize and introduce Program Coordinator Constable Lisa Walsh from London Middlesex Crime Stoppers, who is here with us today. London Middlesex Crime Stoppers is an active program servicing the City of London and the County of Middlesex since 1987. In the past 5 years, London Middlesex Crime Stoppers has received 7,800 tips to the program. This has resulted in 134 arrests and 356 charges laid, with 129 cases cleared. Tipster information has resulted in $1.9 million in drugs, personal property, and cash being recovered. Again, only in the last 5 years. The London Middlesex Crime Stoppers Board of Directors have approved awards in excess of $28,000 to tipsters. Without this information, these cases would not have been solved. Now, it's impossible to put a price on a human life, but London Middlesex Crime Stoppers started getting tips on human trafficking as far back as 2010, so they are very familiar with this criminal activity. With more than 180 human trafficking tips submitted to date, we know there will be even more as we move forward, thanks to this awareness opportunity. I'd like to conclude my remarks today by urging everyone to take the time to learn about human trafficking. The No Human Trafficking module is survivor-led by the incredible Tia Nagy. I've participated in and delivered a great deal of human trafficking training, and I feel this is an excellent way for all members of the public to understand how this crime is growing and what to do to identify it when it happens. As we like to say in Crime Stoppers, if you're aware of a crime, say it here.
All right, I'm here with Sarah Bowers-Peter, and she's with Crime Stoppers. How are we doing today?
I'm doing well, Bruce. How are you?
Good. How long have you been with Crime Stoppers?
Oh my gosh, since 2014. And I've been with the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers since 2015.
Right. And this human trafficking thing, you've seen a lot. Are we getting a lot of calls? It must be working. I hope it's working.
Well, it's an interesting thing because when I first learned about it, it was about 2015, 2016 and around there, I wasn't aware of how big of a problem it is. And I think a lot of people feel that way. With awareness, like what we're talking about today, more people are understanding what it is, and Crime Stoppers programs across Ontario are getting tips on human trafficking.
Are you from the London area here?
Just outside the London area, but we represent 37 programs across the province.
So I understand that the 401 is the main corridor and probably one of the busiest as far as human trafficking because of the way we're situated.
Right, so human trafficking requires like a 400 series highway, so even though we're close to the 401, it can be 400, 403, 410, any of those. Fast food restaurants and hotel accommodations. So whenever you see those things come together, and that's we mentioned earlier that London does have those components, so it does make it an ideal location for human trafficking to take place.
So this campaign, so Crime Stoppers, people can just call if they see a tip, and they can just call Crime Stoppers and say, I'm not sure, because a lot of times human trafficking, you're not sure. You're seeing something, but you don't know the background, right? So,
and that's what it goes back to with the whole point of the No Human Trafficking Awareness Campaign. Go online, get the training so you know what you're looking at, and once you see it happening, then absolutely you can contact Crime Stoppers, and the option for all programs is a toll-free 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. You can also go to our provincial website, which is ontariocrimestoppers.ca, find your local program, or just do a web tip right through that platform. And that information is transferred to the local area that it's related to. And you are anonymous, your information is confidential. And this is really important because especially with a crime like human trafficking, it can be dangerous, right? You could be dealing with some pretty dangerous folks. So we want to make sure tipsters are kept anonymous and safe, and that their information is still acted upon. Every tip we get at Crime Stoppers is forwarded to our police services or other investigative partners.
What happens if the person is caught, whoever's doing it, and then it goes to trial? The person that reported it, because they're trying to stay anonymous, but now I'm sure the police need that as I don't know how that works. I'm not a lawyer, and don't answer if you don't know. But
I love the question.
But how does someone deal with that? Because I think people are going, yeah, it's fine to call, but what happens if they're caught and they need somebody to say, here's the eyewitness?
So here's the beauty of Crime Stoppers. The information that you provide to Crime Stoppers that we relay to police on your behalf is not evidence. It is only information. So the intention is that once an investigator gets that information, it points them in a direction, and they have to do an investigation. We're so used to seeing, police shows on TV, and it's done in half an hour.
30 minutes.
But it does take time, and if the information is accurate from the tipster, there will be supporting evidence, and that's why the tipster never has to attend court, and that's the beauty of Crime Stoppers. If you want to deal directly with police, you're more than welcome to, but we know that people, for a number of reasons, including which they don't want to go to court, may not want to do that. So that's why Crime Stoppers is another option for them.
Yeah, I think they're always worried about the other side. Even if the person goes to jail, they know somebody, and you start getting harassed, and so we're always worried about that part, right?
And with Crime Stoppers, as I mentioned in my remarks, we're recognized in the Canada justice system. Like, Like, we have case law that protects Crime Stoppers tipsters. So we do not disclose who it is that is providing the information.
What happens if we're wrong? Is it like you got a bill because you called in and that was only like the dumpster fire, it wasn't a real fire, because I know that was a thing that started when this campaign started. People were worried about calling. They don't want to waste the police time, whatever, and they might be missing something. So is it okay to call if you think that it's something serious?
I always encourage people to contact Crime Stoppers. Never hold back, because you don't know what part of an investigation the investigator needs. We reference it like being a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
So your tip could literally be the missing piece of that puzzle that allows them to make an arrest. And to your point about maybe information that isn't quite correct, I thought it was a black truck, it's actually a blue truck. Never worry about that, because the investigator has to do the work. They have to do the investigation. They can't just say, here's a Crime Stoppers tip, and I'm going to go to a justice to get a warrant for arrest. So don't worry about that. Let the officers do their work.
I think that's great for people to know, so they know that it's okay to start, even because that little tip could be one thing that connects everything else and gets it. Thank you for your time today.
Oh, so nice to meet you, and thank you for all your time and your effort supporting the program.
We're big on supporting this program, so thank you. I'm here with Angela from Big Rigs Wrap. How are we doing today?
Great, how are you?
Great, you guys did a great job. You guys did the wrap on this wonderful trailer?
Yes, we did.
How long does it take you to do something like that? I know you didn't do it personally, but...
Between half a day to a full day.
Right. Now, how did you get involved with the human trafficking campaign? Was it just Shelley asked you, or because I know you guys have a number of trailers out?
We are a member of the Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, and when we first saw the first trailer that was done, we asked, how can we help? We wanted to be involved in something like this because this is close to my heart.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. Now, do you put a different picture? I've seen different pictures. The middle's the same, but then the pictures, I've seen different ones. So who decides on what goes on the trailer?
There's actually, I think, about 7 or 8 different designs that people can choose from, and they're all approved by Women's Trucking Federation and Crime Stoppers, and they can just choose one of the different
so
graphics.
They're preset already then. That's amazing. How long have you been with Big Rat?
I'm actually the owner.
Oh, okay. Well, we've probably met before. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yes.
So when did you start it? Let's do it properly. When did you start it?
September 2014. So actually in September this year, we'll be 10 years old.
Right. Oh, congratulations. And where are you located? Are you guys Mississauga, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Actually, we have several locations. Our head office is in Oakville.
Okay.
And we also have a location in Buffalo.
Oh, okay. Very nice. So you get people.
We install wraps right across North America, right across Canada and the United States.
Do you go to the location and do it, or does everybody bring a trailer to you? That sounds like a lot of logistics.
Sometimes. It just depends. It just depends on what the client needs, we can send installers anywhere, really.
Right. Is there any other programs? This one's human trafficking. Any other important programs that you've been involved with over the years?
Many. We just wrapped a trailer for the Canadian Association for Suicide Prevention. We have trailers on the road for ALS, Canadian Mental Health, Kidney Foundation. There's quite a few. We love doing stuff like this because we figure this is the best canvas for putting out a big message, right? And we know that transport truck advertising reaches 82% of the population. So if you want to get a message out there, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, and it's great to see our industry giving back the goodwill of important causes, not just hey, hire me or whatever. It's got important causes to it there, right?
That's right. And we're very happy because some of our clients have agreed to sponsor more of these wraps. There'll be another one in a couple of weeks, and it's a great way for businesses out there to align themselves with a really good cause while putting a great message on the roads.
Did you know a lot about human trafficking before you started getting involved with the wraps?
No, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I mean, very little anyways. I attended the Women's Trucking Federation's conference last year in September, and there was an educational piece on it, and I was completely mind blown by how big of a problem this is and how much it's happening and, right under our noses. So I think it's very important that, we educate the public as much as possible. Hopefully, more people will report what they're seeing to Crime Stoppers, and I'm with Shelley when she says, we want to put 50 trailers on the road. I'm working hard with her to try to make that happen.
I know my wife does some translation for the industry on human trafficking, and I've been, very involved with Shelley, and since doing that, I'm learning a lot about human trafficking that I didn't know, and I used to be a driver, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for your time today. Let's go get some butter tarts, Angela. I know where they are. Thank you.
In my time as a member of parliament who are trying to do just that. They are trying to educate people on what is happening around us. And human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation has skyrocketed, especially here in London, because we sit along that 401 corridor. And these are incredible mainly young women and young girls, some extremely young, who are trafficked, who are used to manipulate others for the purposes of trafficking. But there are incredible organizations that are trying to show what's happening, so that we, as politicians, as members of the public, in all the things, in all the levels that we work in, can see it and can actually do something to stop it. I think that we all know a lot of the statistics, but I was shocked when I saw that it's 96% of victims are women, or people who identify as women. A quarter of the victims are girls under the age of 18. 9 out of 10 victims who have reported that crime knew their trafficker. A quarter of them were an intimate partner. And so that horrific level, those percentages, they really hit me. And of course we know that marginalized people in groups are even more susceptible to human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation. There's research that links incredible levels of human trafficking to race. People of color, indigenous people are disproportionately affected by trafficking. Additionally, there are such gaps in healthcare. There are high unemployment rates, housing instability for those within the LGBTQ+ and BIPOC communities. That can lead to that insecurity leads to human trafficking for the purposes of sexual exploitation. And that level, that greater danger of violence that those women or people who identify as women face, we have a responsibility to do something significantly about that. And I am always frustrated. I was talking to Shelley earlier about how frustrated I am with the fact that governments know what's going on. We all agree that something has to be done, and we need to really work on that. There have been significant cuts to women's shelters, where a lot of women can flee out from that violence. That has to stop. And one of the things that I've been working on and will continue to work on is when women and girls and those who identify have found.
Okay, I'm here with Lindsay Matheson, who's the MP for Fanshawe, London Fanshawe.
That's right, London Fanshawe.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us today. You did a great job up there. Now, how did you get involved in the human trafficking?
So this is an issue that is really quite a big problem in London. London is a hub. We're along the 401. We're between the States and Toronto. Yep. For all of the amazing things that provides London, it's one of the bad situations. Right. And so I've been working with groups, women's shelters, women's organizations here in London, and I actually got to meet Shelley and was introduced to the Women's Trucking Federation last week at a committee that I was sitting on.
Oh, so you're new to the... We'll bring you in. Don't worry. You're part of us now. Once you do one interview, that's the way it goes. So, amazing. Yeah. So did you know much about human trafficking before you started getting involved with that?
Yes, and so actually London, because we're that hub, in collaboration with a lot of different groups, they are trying to raise a lot more awareness. Yep. I've gone to forums. I've spoken to some of the leaders within the violence against women community about this. but I always learn so much more. And just talking to Shelley, just talking to folks here at the Ontario Truck Driving School, I've learned so much more, and I want to continue to. I also wanted to say that there is a bill in Ontario that I've been made aware of. A group that's been doing advocacy. I've been working with them for a while, and it's about limiting the trafficker's ability to take out huge amounts of debt under a victim's name.
Oh, wow.
And then that is held against them. And the government needs to fix that. They need to know and ensure that the people who are able to finally escape don't carry that huge amount of debt. And there's a lot of work that we have to do on that front as well.
I didn't even know about the debt part, so I just learned something new today. But I'm like Shelley. I've been a veteran driver for 25 years. I've been now in media, but we never thought of this. Like until I got involved, and I work closely with Shelley and her group. And until you start looking at this, you don't realize how much of a problem it is. You think it's just people doing their thing at the truck stop, right?
Well, and you know what? That's exactly what Shelley was talking about during our committee. She said, we were driving and we would see these women, but we couldn't identify it, or sometimes we would just ignore it. And until you actually see everything that's going on underneath, you're not going to see it. But once you do, you can't ignore it. And there are incredible people. They drive that 401 stretch every day, and they can be a huge part of that change.
Yeah, I think the trucking industry is a leader in that, and rolling billboards. We have the way of getting that message out to people. Now we're going to get stuck in traffic. We tried to avoid it before, but now we're going to get stuck in. Are there other programs within London that are doing? I know they don't have trailers, but are they doing awareness campaigns like this in general?
Yeah, there's an organization called Courage for Freedom that I know of. They actually started the En Route campaign in the en routes along the 401, trying to educate the workers there. They'll talk to anybody. There are campaigns that are starting around the hotel industry because they see that hotels. COVID really took a lot of that and delayed it like it did everything else. But I know that that's getting back in line. And it is really just about opening people's eyes.
It really is about awareness. So people can go to nohumantrafficking.com, take the course. It's an hour long, I think. I know I've done it for a number of organizations, so I'm not sure which organization is what. But it doesn't matter which organization, as long as you're learning about human trafficking. My wife does translation for human trafficking, and she was learning about it while translating. Like, it doesn't matter how you get involved, but get involved. And it's nice to see members of parliament and stuff getting involved as well.
Well, and you know what? I mean, I'm so grateful to be here, but it's the people on the ground that they are doing this work. It's the schools, it's the folks, they've taken this on, and I am so incredibly grateful for constituents who are doing that work.
Well, thanks for being with us today. Great job out there on the podium. Nobody fell over or anything, so you did good. And I think there's still butter tarts. Let's go get some of those. Hey friends, are you looking for health assessments, programs, and information that really needs the expertise of a physician or a medical expert? Well, DriverCheck has that. DriverCheck has programs that can be customized to meet your needs for your specific business and the needs of your employees. DriverCheck prides themselves with minimal wait times, and services can be booked and completed in one visit. DriverCheck is an alcohol testing laboratory that has access to physicians and medical experts to help you put a total program together. How do you learn more? Go to drivercheck.ca. All right, so hey, if you want to get involved with the fight against human trafficking, the best way to do that is to be aware of what human trafficking is. And Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, along with the provincial government, have a great website called No Human Trafficking. That's KNOW, humantrafficking.com. You can go over there and you can take a course. It's like an hour-long course or 30 minutes long. Go watch some videos, find some information so you know what you're looking for. Truck driving is something that is quite prominent in we go to the same places that a lot of human traffickers would go, because they don't usually take things like planes and stuff. They prefer the road, and so you may come across some people or people that are involved with human trafficking, and if you know what to do, then you can at least make that call and know that you're doing your part to help battle human trafficking. So hey, you know what? And the best thing to do is go to WTFC, Women's Trucking Federation of Canada, learn about their information over there. They're doing a lot of great stuff. use the hashtag KNOW, no human trafficking, whenever you're posting about it, and just make people aware. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, and make sure that everybody understands what human trafficking, because it does happen in our neighborhoods. Hey, stay along with us as well. We are on our socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us on TikTok, and you can find us on LinkedIn as well. We are also on Mixcloud.com is where you can find our Lead Pedal Radio. That's right, all our radio shows are there. And if you are on our Lead Pedal Tour, then make sure you join us. And if you don't know what the Lead Pedal Tour is, go back to episode number 1000. You'll learn all about it. All right, my friends, we'll talk to you later. Be safe out there. See you next time, and learn about human trafficking.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com, and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.